everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our wedding planning series. My name is Ashley Hagland. I'm the wedding planner at Dell-Lea Weddings and Events in Chichester, New Hampshire. Today I'm here with Amanda Raymond, the sales director at the Holiday Inn located right in downtown Concord, so it's very convenient. It's only 15 to 20 minutes away from the venue. Thank you for joining us today, Amanda. Why don't you go ahead and let us know about your role here at the Holiday Inn?
Absolutely. So I've been here a handful of years now, and my primary responsibilities are a little bit of everything. So I'm the director of sales, and I also do all the marketing for the hotel. So it's a lot.
Yes.
But my responsibilities are to cover accommodations, rooms, revenue, pricing, any customer requests, you name it, and then also on the banquet side, because we do have banquet and meeting rooms. So I do all the scheduling as far as that goes with just a small team of people, and it's a lot. It's fun though, something different every day. And I've enjoyed my time here.
One of our main priorities is getting our guests to and from a wedding safely. So do you have any recommendations for transportation?
I agree, it's very important. So I do have a great list of recommendations that I always give out as part of that initial interview process when I'm talking to a couple. It's important for that, and the extra layers of what I work with the actual transportation company on is making sure they're here on time. They know where to go and how to get into the parking lot. I always put signage in the lobby at the front desk, and I try to put notices with the actual guest rooms so people have a clear agenda of what time they need to be in the lobby, what time to be ready, and what time they're leaving or returning, just depending on the cycle and what a couple has negotiated with that company for.
Could you explain to us a little bit about how a room block works?
Sure, so I'll get into how I do things here at the Holiday Inn. My general process is I always start with a smaller side of rooms and then build up to where you need to be. So that means I start with a block of 10 rooms, which could be a variety of room types. And those consist of double queens and right to single kings, and we do have a bridal suite on property as well. So again, that really speaks back to timing to make sure I can give them those types of rooms as well, even years down the road. And at that point, basically I review where I'm at from an occupancy standpoint, and then I look at what I have on the books and then get you a rate. And in that case, we put a room agreement together. It's pretty easy, and then just go from there. So, and there's usually a lot of questions around that.
Yes, and I think people are intimidated when I ask them about a room block, and they think that means that they're paying for all the rooms for their guests. So it's great to just have, if you could speak a little bit about their financial responsibility and how that works here as opposed to maybe other hotels too.
Yeah, so what's important to know here at the Holiday Inn, I don't require any financial commitment from you up front. And what that really means is, even with that small block of rooms that we start with, of course, that they're called a courtesy block. So it's me taking those rooms out of inventory, and I'm not requiring any financial from you up front. And that also trickles down to the guests too. So when your guests are calling to book for their room or click on the booking link I provide, they'll be asked to apply a credit card to the reservation. However, that doesn't physically charge them until you check in. So it gives guests at the Holiday Inn, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance, which is huge. And it gives people the flexibility that if they're splitting a room with another guest or family member, they can at that time change that payment method, payment type, and make those arrangements. And instead of gathering it up front to change it later, it's just been a lot more manageable for all of us.
All right, so Amanda, could you tell us a little bit about how, if the room blocks fill up, what the process is, and maybe if we don't fill up the room block, how that works as well?
Sure, so easy question first, I guess. If you get to that 30-day mark, so if your wedding's on October 1st, and by September 1st, that's technically your cutoff and wash date. So any of those remaining rooms in your block will go back into inventory, which allows me the opportunity to resell them. At that time, I always check in with the bride and groom just to say, hey, just so you guys know, the block was only half full. Did you still need rooms? Happy to work with you. And at that time, we'll either evaluate if they actually do need more rooms, because sometimes it really depends on when people get their invitations out, when they're interacting with their guests to determine when when a lot of people wait till last minute. So I always give them that last minute chance before I do anything with the block, essentially. And if they go, oh my goodness, usually that stems them to get their guests to call in. And at that time, I'd either extend the cutoff date for another week to 2 and then monitor that. I might scale back on the amount of rooms that's in there. But if it's full, the other flip side to this is what's great is I'll look at that and see what else I can give, and I'll certainly add rooms.
It's nice to have somebody who's like an ally, like looking out for you, making sure that
it's important.
And it's just really nice that we have this relationship. So we're really grateful. And I know you mentioned that you guys do have a bridal suite. Obviously, we do have one at the Dell-Lea as well. It's a little modest. It's a great place to just keep your stuff for the evening, a place where you can retreat if you need to take a breath. But can you talk a little bit more about the suite that you have here? Is it big enough for like everyone to get ready, hair and makeup?
Yeah, it's an awesome room. Lots of natural daylight. It actually faces the Main Street side, so you've got a lot of great views. If people are doing first look photos or things like that with their photographer. The room is designed, it's kind of like a big circle. So you walk in and you have a nice kitchen area that I always provide additional glassware the day of. And then you walk into a living room that's got a kitchen table with additional chairs, sofa, extended sofa chair as well. Really nice. Before you walk into the bedroom, which is it's got its own whole other space. What's great about our bridal suite too is there's 2 adjoining rooms. So on either side of you, there's a door that actually opens up and expands that space even more. So potentially I could fit 8 to even 15 people, depending on how big the bridal party, parents, all that good stuff. To allow them the space to get ready.
Tell us a little bit about the check-in times for wedding guests.
Sure. So generally our check-in is at 3 p.m. And I know that can be a challenge for wedding guests that are trying to catch a reception time for 3:30, 4 o'clock, and that stress about, oh no, I gotta get there in time. So it's just really important to remember that I do open up the discounted rate for the day before. I can't always guarantee, however, we will do our best to absolutely get you in as soon as possible.
Yeah, and you did mention a discounted room rate. So in a room block, could you tell our couples a little bit about how that works? Like, are they paying full price for rooms, or do you offer something for?
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. So I'm really aggressive about the discount that I offer, just because typically the amount of rooms that come with that. So I'm always at a business standard that you're always going to see a discount that's much lower than what you're going to find online. And it's really important to keep in mind too that your group rate is going to be different than anything that you're going to find online typically. Even if it's really close, because there's a lot of travel ads and a lot of travel sites out there. But the important thing to know is, just a heads up, is that a lot of those sites have certain structures in place, like certain Expedia ads will make you pay for the full room rental up front, meaning you would have to pay for each night of your stay up front and no cancellation. So even if I'm a little bit different rate-wise between the two, just know that I'm still 24-hour cancellation and I don't require anything from you financially up front. So there's some of those clauses in there that you really have to look at if you're looking online. But I generally fall just underneath all of the competitors, if not better in that case.
I'm finding that couples are looking for spaces to have rehearsal dinners, maybe a welcome dinner, cocktail hour, maybe like a post-wedding brunch. Is there space available here to do something like that?
Yeah, what's great, we actually have 5 different meeting spaces available. Consists of space as large as 150 people, sometimes even more than that, down to 10 people. So we have a variety of different rooms that we can certainly do that for. We can do limited menus. We do have our own catering menu that's, because we have our full service restaurant on site as well. So we get that request a lot. A lot of people, like the ease of being in one place, especially if you have family that are traveling from out of state and may not be very familiar with the area. If they can come to one place and kind of do it all in one area or vicinity between Dell-Lea and here, it makes it so much easier for everyone. So it's been great.
And I think you had mentioned earlier that if the couple lives locally and maybe didn't stay at the hotel, you could still come here and have something, you know, after the wedding?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of rehearsal dinners. We get a lot of requests for after reception areas.
After party.
So yeah, and we have the restaurant, which is a great resource for us. So most commonly what we'll do is I'll leave the restaurant open late.
Yes.
So we'll close at a certain time, and then usually that's timed perfectly for when your weddings come back. Because we can keep it open and do late night bar menu, snacks, pizza, all that good stuff to give you one last tidbit with your family and friends before everyone disperses. And then brunches are very popular. So for that morning after, you want a space to kind of see your guests, say goodbye, kind of really live in that moment one last time and before everyone goes home.
Yeah, I love making like the whole weekend out of it. What do guests have to look forward to amenity-wise here at the Holiday Inn?
Yeah, so a couple outside the building, we're obviously very close to Main Street, so we're within walking distance, easy in and out because we're right off the highway. So for guests traveling in to airports and those types of places, we're really easy to get to. In the building, what's great is we're a full service property. So what that means is that we actually have a restaurant on site. It's called EJ's on Main. It's open for breakfast and for dinner. And inside the rooms, you'll have a full mini fridge, microwave, coffee Keurig machine, and again, I missed the pool, which is probably one of the coolest places. Yeah. So pool, we have a great hot tub down there and a full fitness center for your guests to work out in, which is great. So
A great time.
yeah.
Amanda, thank you so much for taking the time to go through accommodations with us. It really, truly was a pleasure. Fun fact, both Amanda and I were both Dell-Lea brides, so this is really just a great experience all around.
It's a good choice.
We hope today's session was really helpful for all of our couples. What we'll do is we will tag Amanda, the Holiday Inn, in the comments below the video. So if you have any further questions, you can feel free to reach out to her directly. And as always, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, share it, and if you have any other questions, reach out directly.
Thank you.